It was a day of action as an estimated 500 to 600 Kahnawake community members rallied against the Canadian government's proposed First Nations Education Act. Despite the frigid temperatures of 30 below, demonstrators were in high spirits as they gathered outside the Kahnawake Mohawk Bingo, which served as a rally point. Many community members carried Warrior and Confederacy flags along with homemade signs in an effort to make a clear statement that they are opposed to the draft legislation. A caravan of cars, trucks, and buses that were filled with children and many other concerned individuals accompanied the walkers as they marched to the beat of their own drum. Kahnawake peacekeepers assisted in slowing traffic on Highway 138 in front of the bingo hall as protesters took over the two-lane highway and headed towards the foot of the Pont Mercier Bridge. Additionally, passionate speeches from community educators, students, local political leaders, and community members were given, all citing major concerns and opposition against the Canadian government's intent to try and control education. Among them, a class of grade 5 students from Kahnawake Mohawk Immersion School, who shared a letter they wrote to Stephen Harper.
Dear Prime Minister Stephen Harper, we the grade 5 students of Kahnawake School in Kahnawake do not want or need your education.
What we want is for our language and culture to survive on into the next 7 generations. We are proud of our own traditions and our unique education system, and we want it to continue.
Our language and culture has been passed on through thousands of years and many generations. It is very important to us to teach it to our own children so that they can pass it on into the future. We want to honor all the agreements that were made by our peoples in the past for our education in exchange for your continued use of our lands.
We have the right to our own teachers, our own curriculum, and we want our parents to stay in charge because they are the ones that know what's best for us.
What we do not need is your Education Act. It will not guarantee our future.
Staff and younger students from local schools held simultaneous rallies of their own, marching on school grounds with signs and rattles in tow. It's clear that Kahnawake opposes the FNEA Act for many reasons, but mainly because the community has successfully been managing its own education system since the 60s. Interim Director of Education Robin Delarone says the act does not guarantee the future of education in Kahnawake as the community now knows it.
To those of you who enjoy the, what would I say? It's our right to have our language and culture, and you send your children to Kahnawake School or other immersion schools within Kahnawake, there is nothing ensured within the Act that stipulates that, yes, we will provide financial funding for education in your language and in for your culture.
Former Kahnawake Combined School Committee member and Mohawk Nation at Kahnawake representative Joe Diome says that parents in Kahnawake have worked very hard to take control of their children's education.
I mean, we've taken a long time to create the education system that we have here in Kahnawake, and despite the shortcomings in funding that the government has implemented, and we're not about to change that. And the community is totally aware of the work that the Education Center, the school committee does in order to upgrade the delivery of education in Kahnawake, and that we can't take a step back in the progress that we've made so far.
Kahnawake, like many other First Nations communities across Canada, will continue to stand and oppose the FNEA Act. For Mohawk TV, I'm Regan Jacobs reporting.